Lawmakers of the federal parliament have been engaging themselves in political blame game at a time when the country is heading towards the announcement of the annual budget. Good morning, I'm Amit Mackerel, and let's begin with the top stories this hour. Lawmakers ignore past trends of pre-budget discussion on the basis of programs and policies and budget priorities. Current session more indulged in political blame game. More than 300 non-governmental organizations contracted by the Urban Development Ministry to upgrade roads and construct canals and parks. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says the United States does not seek a war with Iran amid rapidly growing tensions between the two countries. England coached a chase of 359 runs to beat Pakistan by 6 wickets in the third one-day international. Let's begin with the national political updates. Based on previous practices prior to issuing the budget for any fiscal year, lawmakers of the federal parliament take opinions from the public to carry out discussion at the parliament. This is followed by the discussion on the appropriation bill considering the government's policies and programs, budget policies and priorities. However, despite the need of the hour, lawmakers have been busy with political blame games at the current session of the parliament. There has been a past practice of collecting opinions from the public, and as per the policies and programs and budget priorities and policies discussion on the appropriation bill were held. The trend has been ignored this time around as the policies and programs were first approved by the government prior to holding the pre-budget discussion. Meanwhile, lawmakers wasted considerable time in discussing rhetoric used by the president while announcing the policies and programs. The ruling Nepal Communist Party and opposition Nepali Congress sent a few lawmakers to take the public opinion right after the end of the winter session. However, instead of emphasizing on public demands and priorities, lawmakers have busied themselves in political blame game. The manner in which lawmakers have ignored discussing the public opinions has raised speculations whether the discussion sessions are merely put up for or formality. It has been revealed that the Urban Development Ministry has contracted more than 300 non-governmental organizations to upgrade roads and to construct canals and parks. The NGOs have been, in the last year, taken more than 1 billion rupees for the construction works. The Office of the Auditor General has termed the act as illegal. The projects involving infrastructure development have been assigned to NGOs by Kathmandu Valley Development Authority under district-based offices in the Kathmandu Valley under the authority. These units had contracted NGOs to construct the Thobi-Khola corridor, retaining walls and parks, and were upgrading roads last year. A total of 326 NGOs have received 1.27 billion rupees in payment after claiming that they had completed the works as per their contracts. However, none of these NGOs have a registered VAT account. Meanwhile, the Kathmandu Valley Development Authority, which is under the Urban Development Ministry, has denied contracting NGOs. According to the authority, it contracted the Local Consumers Committee for corridor works and non-profit organizations for other small construction jobs. As per the existing laws, NGOs can only be used to provide trainings or orientation to raise social awareness. However, the government units under the Urban Development Ministry have been found contracting NGOs which have no previous experience for construction works. This has led to the Office of the Auditor General raising questions on the intention of the officials involved. Over 100 service seekers reached the Regional Administration Office Walling to apply for citizenship and passports on a daily basis. In this contest, we had asked the service seekers how did they find the service provided. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
यसभन्दा अगाडि त चाहिँ सेवा चाहिँ राम्रो चाहिँ पाइरहेको थियो। यो पटक चाहिँ किन सरकारले कर्मचारीको व्यवस्था नगरेका हुनाले एउटै चाहिँ सामान्य चाहिँ नागरिकता बनाउने कामलाई पनि घण्टौं चाहिँ कुर्नुपर्ने अहिलेको बाध्यता परिस्थिति छ।
कामको प्रकृति हेर्दाखेरिमा कर्मचारीको अभावको कारणले गर्दाखेरिमा काम थोरै ढिलो भएको छ।
पासपोर्ट बनाउन आएको बिहानै अब 9:30 बजेबाट आएर बसेको अहिलेसम्म यस बेला भइसक्यो 2 घण्टा हुन लागिसक्यो अहिलेसम्म काम बनेको छैन।
यो घण्टौँसम्म लाइनमा बस्नुपर्ने सेवाग्राहीलाई लाइनमा बस्नुपर्ने अवस्थाको अन्त्य हुनुपर्छ।
It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on contracts given to NGOs for infrastructure development? And options are A. Illegal work, B. Commission game, and C. Ploy to mobilize the community. The voting is on. Type NAWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now the sports update.
Sports news.
Johnny Bairstow smashed a sensational century as England coasted a chase of 359 to beat Pakistan by 6 wickets in the third one-day international in Bristol. Sent to bat first, Pakistan piled up 358 runs with a top score of 151 runs from their opener Imran ul Haq. There were other useful contributions from Asif Ali, who scored 52 runs, and Haris Sohail, who scored 41 runs. In reply, Bairstow clubbed 128 from 93 balls, supported by 76 from Jason Roy, Joe Root's 43, and an unbeaten 46 by Moeen Ali. This means that England completed the second highest run chase in ODIs and best at home with more than 5 overs to spare. A-Division League champions Manang Mersyangdi club is taking on India's Minrapa, Punjab in a Group E match of the AFC Cup today at Ainfar Ground, Sadabata. On the eve of the match yesterday, both the sides have expressed the confidence to pocket full points. The two sides had played a 2-all draw in the first leg match. Manang had, however, lost 2 other group matches. Manang has said that the team has worked on its weakness and tried to win the match today. Minerva, on the other side, has drawn all of its 3 matches and has an outside chance of qualification if they chalk out a win today against Manang. The winner of the group will qualify for the inter-zone play of semi-final. Indian League champions Chennai N lead the group with 2 wins and 1 draw for a total of 7 points. Apani Limited of Bangladesh are in the second position with 4 points. Nepal languishes at the bottom of the league with a single point to show. It's time now for our special segment, Laugh Out Loud.
The Deputy Prime Minister and leader of the newly formed Samajwadi Party Nepal hit the headlines for the wrong reasons this week. During an interview with a local television channel, the respected leader lost his cool and walked out of the studio. Anybody watching the interview, now widely distributed in the social media, can feel that Yadav, who had begun his political career from humble background, over the years had shed quite a few ounces of humility and added up arrogance all the while. The sport governing body in Nepal, National Sports Council, unveiled the mascot for the 13th South Asian Games to be hosted by Nepal later this year. Sports mascots usually look quite attractive and pleasing to the eye. However, the mascot for the games, a black buck deer, doesn't seem to carry any visual appeals. Looking at the plight of the mascot unveiled, it seems that bureaucracy went through some 11th-hour hassles to approve the mascot for the 13th South Asian Games.
That's all for this hour. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a good day.